G'day there. I finally got this bracket sorted out for this 3040 mount for the HF radio. It was a bit of a challenge, weirdly, because it's a simple bracket, but yeah, a lot went wrong, and this is what I've ended up with. It's going to work out pretty good. It's a little bit exposed. I had a shield that I was going to build around it, but that didn't work. Anyway, if you want to see how I did it, hang around. Wait a sec, I've got an intro now. Let's get that out of the way and we can get started. Alrighty, I've been thinking about this for a really long time. Placement of these aerials is fairly important for performance of the radio, but it's also got to be practical. So in the end, I decided to put it up here, and I was able to use these brackets which you can get from super cheap. They've got rubber behind them, they're quite strong. I think they're going to last pretty well, and that's them there. So then I started marking things out. I actually made templates. Everyone knows I like my cardboard templates. Started marking out the steel, made sure I marked it out in a way that I wasn't wasting any steel, or very minimal steel. I like to keep all my offcuts. Make sure you wear your best scientist safety goggles when you're doing this, and make sure you've got all the safety gear on before you start using your plasma cutter. There's the rough cut. I also cut out some googly faced tomato heads for key rings while I was at it. Clean up all your parts. There it is, sort of roughly put together. Drill out all your holes before you weld it together. Now I'm going to include this part in it. This is actually the shield, the part that didn't work, but if I'm, putting my mistakes up there, well then you guys, if you're making one of these, can skip making those mistakes. Marked it out on this bit of steel. It was 3mm. Actually cut it out with a grinder, not the plasma cutter, just because it made a nicer edge and a little less cleanup. Pressed it out in my garage shop press using some bits and pieces I made up. I think it come up pretty good actually. I'm actually disappointed I couldn't use it. This is how it was supposed to sit with the aerial base behind it. Cleaned up all the holes that I drilled out, got all the mill scale off because you can weld better like that. And be careful not to dip your tip or it'll get contaminated. Start welding it up. Make sure you do your best weld Instagram photo for Instagram. I realised at this point I'd made a big mistake. I'd actually welded the back plate on, flipped over, so all the holes were in the wrong place, which was really annoying. So I had a bit of a drink to think about what I'd done. I filled some of the holes, but it actually kind of worked in my favour because I forgot about the earth stud as well, which is really important. I was able to use one of the holes for that. Did a test fit here, and then realised I'd also made a big mistake there. At the back here there's fairly big connectors that have got to go on, about 40mm long, and there's no way that we're going to go into their sockets with that bar there, so the whole thing had to be moved forward, which means I couldn't open the door, which is problematic if you want to open that door, so the shield had to go. In the end though, I think it all came together pretty good. I don't think it looks that bad. In fact, I think without the shield it probably is less conspicuous. Once it's all cleaned up and all that desert dust is taken out of it, I think it'll look just fine. So there you go. Calamity of errors, but we got there in the end. It's not too bad. It's a little bit exposed there. A little bit worried about branches and being on this side of the vehicle, but if I'm going to wipe that out, I'm probably going to wipe that out and a mirror as well, so I'm pretty happy with it. I thought I'd do this video because I know there'd be a few people that are having the same sort of issues mounting locations and whatnot without encroaching on the payload space, and also my bullbar. As you can see, it's already chock-a-block full of aerials, and it's important to maintain the spacing to not damage your radios and so on and so forth, but that's a whole other subject. Anywho, thanks for watching.